So part 3 for the full moon reading. And we've been talking about the first house, equivalent to Aries, in opposition to the seventh house. Yeah, seventh house. And the seventh house is equivalent to Libra. Yes, Libra. And Libra is the winter house of Venus. And the most important part of Libra is justice, because through justice, you get harmony. When you have harmony in your life, you create beauty. And that's what Libra is all about. And the seventh house it's about our partnerships, whether it's marriage, business partners, and it's also about our open and veiled, hidden enemies. So this is all about, the edge of the basket. We was talking about this fantastic basket, right? So the edge of the basket is this opposition. So that starts in our private lives, in all our relationships. It's also, employer, employee, landlord, tenant, all kinds of relationships that make a mark on our daily lives. That's what it's all about. And to find justice there. Yeah. Always remember all these beautiful sculptures. Some are kitchen, some are art, of this beautiful lady who is she can't see. Yeah, her eyes are closed and she's holding a scale. So she's not really looking of if the offender is rich or poor, or man or woman. She can't see. This is all right. So that's about the edge. And now let's say this basket, although it's turned upside down, consider it to be full of blessings. Whoever has in their personal birth charts anything here at the beginning of Aquarius, or here at the beginning of Aries, or here at the beginning of Gemini, because it's also going to be a day where in the collective, because it's all here in the 11th house being equivalent to Aquarius, to teach, right? And here is Sedna. I haven't talked about Sedna this time. I think I talked about her before. The story of the daughter who gets sacrificed, who gets killed in a brutal way by her own father for him to save his own life. A very touching story. She's the mythology of the Inuit, talking about the ocean goddess whose fingers have become the fish to feed the people. So the story is that she is rescued by her father from some abusive marriage, but on their way back, there is a storm and their boat is about to sink. So he throws her out, and as she tries to come back, he cuts off her fingers as she holds to the boat ramp to climb back in. And so she is sacrificed by him so that he can stay alive. And she becomes immortalized as a symbol of self-sacrifice. So this story may touch very deeply. And as she's now in the very beginning of Gemini, And Gemini is also the equivalent to the third house where we have Venus. I think I haven't talked about, here's Venus. I haven't talked about enough about Venus. I get to that, yeah. But first, here is Sedna. Here is the sacrificed daughter. And that story runs very, very deeply. Here we have the other beautiful triangle here, yeah, between Uranus and Pluto, and Pluto highlighted by the moon. Just shortly before the actual full moon, the moon has made his passage over Pluto. Yeah. And let's never forget, Pluto, as the transformer, is violent and brutally violent only where there's resistance. Yeah. We had a lot of, there was a lot of time spent by Neptune in his home element, the oceanic Pisces. And out of that period of time that's been lasting a long time, he's now in action. Yeah, he's now in the fire. Yeah. There may be a lot of steam also, but no, pretty clear. Yeah, Neptune, in positively aspected, is all about compassion, but also vision, spiritual love, unconditional love. That's all Neptune. Water, connect to water. Yeah. If Neptune is negatively aspected, it's also in your birth chart. Have a look. If there are negative aspects on your Neptune, be careful of illusions and also drug addictions. La La Land. Yeah, be careful with that. But this full moon, no negative aspects on Neptune whatsoever. Neptune is really saying, hey, look at me, love and light. Yeah. All this. But don't do it without your ego, because you may become, you be losing out. You will not understand the blessings poured out onto you. Okay, I promised I will talk about Venus. Now, Venus is a little bit in a tight space. There is something going on between her, the Mars in Gemini. Let me reset this now here. Mars and Gemini. Here we have Venus. Now, what do we have here? A big fat square. So there's a little tension. Mars here is overly intellectual. So Mars will thrust with words. And then on the other side, we have the dark moon Lilith, and that's rebellion. So, and then we have some a little bit weak, but still, we have to we have to hold on to them. Between the sign rising in Cancer, you know about Cancer, right? That's where the sacred image of the mother and the child was. I'll always refer to Isis. Isis. It's actually Isis. It's the real pronunciation. It's Isis, not Isis. Yeah. So, and then becomes Mary, Maria. Yeah. It's also called the Star of the Sea. And she's located here. And that's that's really that's the home, the family, the roots that we have to our Earth Mother as well. And it's the first water sign. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, it's the first water sign. course it is. And so it's the mountain spring. It's the pristine water, the most pristine water trickling out here. Motherly sign. And then right next to, we have this, now the thinker. Before was in charge for something else. Mercury. Mercury thinks about and thinks for the mother. And there is this connection to Venus. And there is some very aesthetic communication possible. And let me tell you again and again, Venus is not about sex at all. Venus is about ethics. Venus is about beauty, and a beauty that is based in justice, as I have explained before. She's the muse. Yeah. I'll talk later, another time I will talk who and why there's another influence actually in charge for sexuality. I'm not talking about this now. Because here, it's very much about the love for the earth. Why? Virgo. Virgo's second earth sign. First earth sign being Taurus, where Chiron has just entered. After being for quite a time in Aries, and say we have to do active healing. And now it is not only about the healing of the body, the physical body. Now it really enters into the field of earth healing. What is healthy earth? Like, I always chip when I hear the Americans say soil or dirt. So you don't want to make your hands dirty, right? That feeds you. That dark, moist substance which worms inside, In Germany we call them rain worms. The Americans call them earthworms. That's the base. Yeah. So you're not supposed to call this dirt or soil. Yeah, I cringe every time I hear this. This is earth, and this is part of our Earth Mother. So the healing starts right there. There are people, I don't belong to them, but there are people, they know exactly what is supposed to be in there. So it can bring out tasty food, fresh food, yeah, where everybody now is scared. We're scared of bring snails. We're afraid of this and that and the other, and it may poison us to eat the fresh food. And let us talk about this another time. But this just starts now, this big consciousness. And now here we see that there is a sextile 60-degree angle to still in Pisces. At the very, very, like for the North Node, it's like the North Node is backwards. Yeah, everything else is marching this way. No, and but the North Node is going backwards. Let me reset that. So this North Node for quite a while has been in Pisces, and it was all about like the image of the ego being a raindrop, yeah, falling from the sky, and then trickling down here at the on the mountain, as becoming a spring, and then becoming a river, and then finally being in the ocean. And as was always with the whole ego question, was always, it's like, okay, am I now dying as a drop or am I reborn as an ocean? Yeah, this is the whole spiritual question of Pisces, and it's about to go into Aquarius shortly after this karmic aim, this karmic aim of the whole situation will go into Aquarius. As I said, this moon, I call it moon knot. It's called how do Americans call that? It's the mean node in Pisces, right? And it's about to go into Aquarius, and it's so much talk about the age of Aquarius. We are in an Aquarian time, but the age of Aquarius is not here yet. It will take centuries before. So let's not be confused about that. It's so strong because of Pluto in in Aquarius entering. The last time that happened, I don't know if I told you this before, but the last time it happened was actually the French Revolution. The French Revolution was the first time in known, what they call history, where human rights were actually declared, put on paper. That's the right of every human being. That hadn't been there before. But it was also a horrific bloodbath. I mean, these people, they started killing each other. Killing was like, that was the outlet of the anger of the people, and then they turned against each other. But this time it's not going to happen like this. So revolutionaries who've been, we've been revolutionaries from when? It's me since teenager. All our life, some of us, we've been revolutionaries. And this time we are blessed by this pure compassion and action. No, we're not gonna go around on killing thirsts anymore, thinking the world would be better if certain people don't live. That's the old paradigm. The constant need for human sacrifice to maintain power of the rulers. That's the old system. And now the public, it's not the public, the society, the whole society is seeing through that and say, hey, no more. It's not going to happen. We don't want it. Yeah. And so there is this, is it your enemy or is it your most beloved? The monarch, the ego, has to love the others, the other and the others. Yeah, has to have this pure compassion, or else you have no right to feel like a king or a queen. You have no right to expose yourself, to want to shine, right? You know that. Okay. Yeah, I'm really stoned. Let us talk about Lilith, dark moon Lilith. This is a landmark. Not landmark, sorry. It's a celestial landmark. Yeah, it. And it is a place of rebellion. So she, Dark Moon Lilith, is in Judaic and Christian mythology. She's supposedly a demon. She is in Sagittarius. Sagittarius, as I said before, last fire sign, where the fire is in service of all that is, the collective, all humanity, and animals as well as everything, because humanity is either lovingly treating all that is given to us or abusively in a raping manner. just taking without thinking of the consequences, without thinking of the children, right? The future generations. So Lilith is a rebel. She rebels against the order of the female being dominated by the male. And she is in opposition of one of the male, very male, I would say young male energy, Mars. And here Mars is fencing with words. He's arguing and trying to dominate through the way he talks to the female, who is not ready to submit to satisfy his needs or desires or whatever, and just rebels. And that being in Sagittarius as a philosophy. And interestingly, in the sixth house, and what is the sixth house all about? It is equivalent to Virgo, and it's about service. You know, it's about meticulous, honest, correct, like bookkeeper, clockmaker, details. You know, how do you are you preparing medicine? Like, let's say herbal medicine. If you don't know in which proportions, how to harvest the herbs, all of that you gotta know. That's just about precision and service. Sixth house is about service, and here the rebellion against male domination instead of equilibrium, equality between the male and the female power. Yeah, that is a service that is brought into the philosophy. Yeah, how we're looking at life. Yeah, if we are rebels because we want to protect life itself, then can we be anything else? So that is what is Venus all about. And then there is this weak trine between the so-called descendant. So Venus is here on both sides, is a little bit, is under fire, and those two, they're facing each other. So when they're fencing, they're looking into each other's eyes. But both of them are, you know, kind of like pecking on her. It's like, here Lilith says, hey, Venus, why are you putting on makeup if you don't want to impress somebody by flattering your eye hair? How they call it? The the fringes on the eyes. Sorry, I'm joking. I'm just so stoned. Okay, let me make a break here before I get too silly.